Welcome back to Math Mini Lessons. In this lesson, we're going to factor trinomials when a is not equal to 1. So there's going to be a coefficient in front of that x squared. So here's our criteria for success. When factoring a trinomial in our ax squared plus bx plus c form, in other words, a does not equal 1, we're going to try and identify if there's a greatest common factor to factor out. That's the first thing we're going to look for in the work. And if there isn't a GCF, then we're going to multiply the a and c, the coefficient a as well as c, and we're going to find the two integers again that multiply to create a and c, that again add up to b, and then use those to successfully split into two integers to create that middle term. And our final thing is to factor using grouping and write the final answer as two binomials. Let's jump in. I placed the steps here on the bottom. I'm going to talk through how I factored this trinomial using these 4 steps. So first, I'm going to identify my a term, which is 2. My b term is 13, and my c term is 21. So my a is not equal to 1. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to multiply these two terms together, and I would get 42. So I'm going to find the factors of 42 that add up to my b term 13. That's what I'm going to find out. So let's list the factors of 42. And the only ones that would also add up, so any of these can make 42 when you multiply them, but the only ones that will also add up to 13 are 6 and 7. So now watch what I'm going to do. This is the heart of this. This step right here, number 3. I'm going to take this original trinomial and I'm going to split this middle term, this 13x, into the 6x and the 7x. I'm going to split it up so that I can do factor by grouping. Now, the order is going to matter. I want to put the 6x and the 7x next to the terms that will have common factors. So look at my thinking. I'm going to choose to put the 6x here and choose to put the 7x there. Now, why would I do that? Because now I have common factors that I can factor out, and that's what I wanted. Here I can factor out a 2x. Here I can factor out 7. So let's do that. And now here's my 2x. I end up with just x over here plus 3, and I factored out the 7, and I end up with an x plus 3. This is what we saw a few lessons ago. So how can I simplify this now, noticing that I have the same binomials? I can rewrite this as 2x plus 7 times x plus 3. And now it is complete. You can use either FOIL or an array method to then check your work. I'm just going to use the array method and put in my numbers here. 2x plus 7, x plus 3. I have 2x squared, 6x, 7x, and 21. And those are the exact terms that I had over here. I had a 2x squared, 6x, 7x, and a 21. And they do combine. When I combine those like terms, I am going to combine these two to get back to 13x. Hit pause and jot this down into your notes. Alright, let's look at this trinomial. I'm going to go through it with you, and then you'll have a guided practice. Now again, notice my a is not equal to 1, so I'm going to look for a common factor. So in our terms a, b, and c, a is 24, b is 32, our c is negative 6. They do have a common factor. Our greatest common factor is 2. So I'm going to factor out 2. So let's write the entire part out. And now I have 12x squared plus 16x minus 3. Okay, so a little bit simpler. Now looking at this part here, my a is still not equal to 1. And there is no common factor for these three numbers that will work for all three. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to find the product of these two numbers, which is negative 36, that add up to 16. Okay, so again, you're thinking of two numbers that when you multiply will give you a negative 36 and when you add them up will give you a positive 16. Again, if you don't know where I'm getting the negative 36 from, all I'm doing is multiplying my 12 and my negative 3, my a and my c. That was my second step over here. All right, so let's list out those factors. 1 and 36, 2, 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, and 6 times 6. Now, when I multiply them, one of them has to be negative. And when I add them, one of them has to be negative. So that's important to know. So how can I add two numbers and one of them can be negative and still get 16? These two could work if the 2 is negative. Okay, so if I have negative 2 times 18, I have negative 36. And if I have negative 2 plus 18, I get positive 16. So that is it. That is my pair. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these two numbers. And I'm going to split 16x into a 2 and an 18. Which ones, doesn't matter where I put it. It doesn't matter which one is the negative 2 and the negative 18. Try and think. Which one is going to give me the biggest common factor? Well, if I put the 2 here and I put the positive 18 here, do I have common factors? Yes. I can factor 2x from here, and I can factor out a 3 from here. If this was, and I'm just going to play devil's advocate, if my 2, I'm going to reverse this, if this was a negative 2x and this was my 18x, I could factor 6x from here, but I wouldn't be able to factor anything here, only 1. So that's why the positioning really matters. Okay? So let's put them back into place. Negative 2x, positive 18x. Now let's take out our common factors, and I have on this end 6x minus 1, and on the other side I also have 6x minus 1. So now I can rewrite this as 2x plus 3 times 6x minus 1. But let's also not forget this 2 that we factored out in the very beginning. We have to make sure we have it down there as well. All right, so our final answer is 2 parentheses 2x plus 3 times 2x minus 1. Now, if we want to check our answer, we can quickly just distribute. We can either use FOIL to multiply these first and then double it. You can do that part, or you can distribute here and then factor out. You can use either one. But hit pause for now so you can jot this down into your notes, and you can also do the check if you want to confirm that the answer is equivalent to our original trinomial. All right, let's jump right into our guided practice. Here is the problem for today, so hit pause and start working through this problem. All right, let's jump right into the solution and check your work for the answer 5x minus 4 times x minus 2. If you have the correct answer, just move on into your checkpoint problem and continue to practice. Now, if you have a different answer and you're looking at your work and you're not sure why, find a link in the description and you'll find an additional video where I go over the steps for this guided practice. All right, that's it for today's lesson, Math Marbles. I'll see you in the next one. Be well.